What is up, Addicts? In this video, I'll be giving a visual guide for this week's normal time trial, RC Bandito time trial, and the premium race totaling over $300,000. Note that the time trials can only be completed once a week for the full $100,000 payout. The premium race, however, can be completed in a limited amount of times with a 48-minute cooldown between each win. Also keep in mind that rocket-powered / flying vehicles cannot be used in time trials. So, starting off with the time trial this week, which is Casino, I highly recommend either the Hakuchu Drag, Shotaro, Krieger, Emerus, or an F1 car for this time trial. As for the budget vehicle for this time trial, as always, I recommend a Batty 801, constantly holding wheelies for as long as possible. In terms of route, there's really only one shortcut at the very beginning where you cut through the highway instead of going around, which does save quite a bit of time. And then there's little tiny minor couple of shortcuts here and there where you're just cutting some corners. The route itself in general is the easiest to complete using a motorcycle in my opinion, as it makes it easier to get around traffic and take some of the corners at higher speeds. Moving on to this week's RC Bandito time trial, which is Cypress Flats. As always, you need to own an RC Bandito in order to participate in these. So this RC time trial is one of the most difficult ones in my opinion, due to the curbs, sidewalks, high-speed corners, and traffic when you're going across intersections. One of the main things I want to let you guys know about this one is that it gives you a lot of extra time to finish it, even if you make mistakes. You'll see that in my run, I had about 15 seconds left over, which it's a lot of time in terms of time trials. Also guys, the biggest tip I can give for this time trial is to let off the throttle during most of the bumpy turns or places where you feel you're constantly spinning out or losing control of the Bandito. And lastly, we have this week's premium race, which is Muscle In. This one is restricted to the muscle cars class. I highly recommend either the Yosemite, Vapid Click, or a Pizwazer Dominator for this race. For those of you who've never done this race before, this is going to be a very difficult race for you, if I'm being honest. It's a very bumpy race in muscle cars, which is arguably the most difficult class to control. If you are new to this race, I highly recommend using the Vapid Click, which is the easiest and most consistent one for this race, and then practice the normal version of it first. In my specific run, you'll see me going over a lot of sidewalks and curbs. For those of you who don't know, Going over sidewalks and curbs increases your speed and acts like a bump boost. The most tricky part of this race, in my opinion, is the first turn. You're pretty much approaching this turn at full speed, and it's very important that you brake early, if not you will overshoot it. As muscle cars don't exactly have the best brakes, it makes a lot of sense to brake early in that situation. Even me, that I've done this race countless times in the past, I was a little rusty and I sort of braked a little bit too late in that first corner. But again guys, this is definitely one of those races you need to practice if you're not familiar with it. And that's it guys, the normal time trial this week is pretty simple if you use one of the motorcycles I mentioned. The RC time trial is pretty difficult if you've never done it before, but just brake a little extra for most of the turns and you'll be fine. And this week's premium race is definitely a difficult one that will require some practice. Again, remember guys, you can earn over $300,000 between the three this week, and setting yourself to go to beat them is always a lot of fun in my personal opinion. Let me know which one you found most difficult and what vehicles you used down below in the comments. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.